Like, as long as you're constantly taking them steps forward, if I'm taking 5 steps forward every day, if there's a day where I take 2 steps back, it's okay. Because the next day I'm taking 5 again and I'm going 5 again, 5 again.
And highs and lows, we have to fall in love with them. Like if you look at a heartbeat monitor, if that thing were to flatline, you'd be dead. The highs and lows, the ups and downs, they remind us that we're living, that our heart is racing, that we're still breathing. You know, you have to fall in love with that. What's going on, y'all? We got here AJ on the 4th episode of Living with Lijah. Here we just gonna be talking about childhood trauma, talking about our upbringing, the root causes of a lot of our behaviors. So I've got AJ here, and if you guys could just try to like, comment, subscribe on that podcast, wherever you're watching from. Hopefully we're having this podcast on YouTube soon. So I'm hoping to get the video out as well as the audio, but this episode should be dropping on my birthday. So go ahead and wish your boy happy birthday as well. But AJ, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right, so my name is AJ. I'm currently a student at Central Michigan University, and me and a couple of my other friends have our own podcast called The World's Greatest Podcast. Make sure you guys go tune into that. If everything goes as planned, Elijah here should be on the episode that we have coming out. We have an episode filming tonight, which should come out on Sunday. So make sure you guys go tune into that too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then just give a little bit of backstory about yourself, where you come from, as well as, you know, your family background.
Okay, so I'm Nigerian. I was born in Nigeria, and me and my family, well, me and my mother, we moved over here when I was maybe like 4-ish, 5, and I've been living in Michigan ever since.
Okay. So what was the dynamic like changing from Nigeria to America? Do you remember or have any recollection?
From as far as I remember, honestly, it wasn't that big of a change, simply just because I was a child still, so it's not like I had a lot to take on. But I mean, it was just, for me, it was really the same, like playing around, not having really responsibilities or anything like that.
Right. Do you still have family back there?
Yes, plenty.
Have you seen them?
No, not as of recent. I was supposed to go back during 2020 around that COVID time, but then COVID hit. So really, it's just like through video. I did go to London recently, and being there, you know, London's kind of close to Nigeria. Right. So being there, I was able to see one of my cousins that I haven't seen like in a long time, and I saw his little brother and my aunt. So yeah, that was pretty nice.
That sounds dope. Sound dope out in London. But yeah, my stepdad is actually Nigerian. I got 4 Nigerian siblings, so I know the roots. And jollof rice, man, that's my favorite. Fufu. I love to get my hands on some fufu. We had an open house this past Sunday for my 2 brothers. They both Nigerian, and they were serving jollof, puff. They had some turkey, smoked turkey.
Yeah.
It was busting.
Yeah, you making me miss it.
Yeah, but here in Michigan, is it kind of like isolated? Do you feel like, as being so far from your roots, do you feel like you're kind of, you know, severed off from the rest of, you know, your background?
So one thing that I will like commend a lot of Nigerians, or just like immigrants in general, I feel like once they come over to the States, they either come with some like family or friends, and they build like a sort of community within themselves. So one thing, like, I was just making fun of my mom maybe like a couple days ago or something like that. I was just saying, like, she doesn't really have friends. Like, all her friends are like family.
Yeah.
So it's like I have my aunts, my uncles. So it's like there's a large majority of us that are Nigerian, that are living in America, that, you know, we all have a little community with. So I don't think there's like anything that's really severed. Yeah, it's like there's parts that are missing because, you know, my uncles, my grandma over there, stuff like that. But I wouldn't necessarily say severed.
Okay. Yeah. I noticed that a lot as well. Like my stepdad, he has so many friends or so many like male friends as well as female friends. He calls them brothers and sisters, and we'll be like, "That's Uncle Tony," but they have like no blood, no
literally.
blood relation.
Yeah.
And we got cousins that ain't even really our cousins, but we call them cousins. It's just like we said, that sense of community, sense of family, and they're so strong on that. And I think that is because, they've come to this state, this unknown territory, and sometimes we just really need a reminder of where we came from, and that is in the people we surround ourselves with.
Yeah, that's right.
And that can be hard to find sometimes, like especially coming to a college campus, straight from out of high school. So just speak on that. How was that coming from, you're from Flint, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, coming from Flint to Mount Pleasant.
It was very much a culture shock. Okay. Very much, I hadn't been around that many like white people before. Right. just saying it, like honestly, I haven't. Like my school, I feel like my school and my mother and my family in general, just like they raised me to be able to adapt to all kind of environments, but just actually being here from the first time, like not going back home to my actual house at the end of the day, actually going to sleep here, and it's just being surrounded by so many people, so many different ethnicities and races and stuff like that. It was really a culture shock. So, but I feel like I adapted pretty well to it though.
How did you find that sense of community and family here?
Honestly, I will say one of the major things that I feel helped me acclimate to being here on campus is that I came with a couple other friends from high school, and with them, we were able to go out together, and through us going out together as a group, I was able to meet more people, and those people helped me also build a sense of community. So now it's like I got a little bit of home with me, and I got a little bit of here with me, and soon, like eventually some of the people who were, came from home, they decided to take their own path and, leave and stuff like that. But it's like, I'm still left with a very strong foundation of people that I met while I was here.
So that foundation is strong, you set.
Yeah.
What was your family dynamic like growing up? Like as you transition from Nigeria here, your immediate family, brothers, sisters?
Well, when we first came over, so my brother and sister were born in America. So it was really just me and my mom.
And are you the oldest?
Yeah, I'm the oldest. So it was really just me and my mom. And honestly, it was just, her just trying to figure out how we were gonna, survive. And then me just being there. So, yeah.
Was it hard not having a father figure in the household?
I wouldn't say that, because I did have a father figure. Yeah, I did. And he was there. I just don't like to speak on it a lot of the times, but he was there, and he was doing, did everything that he needed to do to take care of me and my mom at the time. And then he was always supportive for my siblings and everything. So yeah.
Has that had any impact on kind of the man you want to grow up to be?
Honestly, I was thinking about it. I like to think back to, I want to say maybe my senior year of high school. And I was just thinking, like, there's not a lot of like males in my life that I could necessarily say I want to be like, or I guess you could say when it comes to like personality wise, there are, like, I have a whole bunch of uncles that, everybody loves, anybody would do anything for them. That's the type of person I want to be. But when I'm looking at like, I don't know, just like looking at the like financial aspect or just like the physical aspect and things like that, there aren't really a lot of males in my life that I can look up to and be like, I want to be like that. So I think I'm trying to, set my own path and be my own type of man, so that people will look at me and be like, I want to be just like him. So yeah.
That's kind of the track or the path I'm on, because I also grew up in a single mother household. My mom raised 5 of us. Superwoman. I don't know how she did it. But one thing I always prided myself on being young was I wanted to grow up to be the role model that I needed as a child.
Yeah.
To grow up to be everything that I needed, all that care, all that emotional intelligence I needed as I was in high school, as I was preparing for, the big world.
Yeah.
I wanted to become all of that. And that is exactly what I did. Like right now, if I saw me 5-6 years ago, I would be able to give him so much advice on the years ahead, so much advice for the storms, for the trials that he's gonna face and he's gonna endure. And so that's really something like I've tried to instill in myself, because I also kind of lacked in, a male role model, a male figure.
Mhm.
I've had many father figures in my life, which I have been blessed with. I have my father in my life. I have, my stepdad as well in my life, and they've taught me great things about how a man should present himself, about how a man should, you know, just present himself in a room and walk into a room, how he should handle himself, how he should take care of himself, groom himself, stuff like that. And they've taught me those valuable skills on how to be a man, but it's also so hard when you don't have that in the household, when you grow up with just a single mother. And as being the oldest son, it's a lot we take on our backs.
Yeah,
It's
for
a
sure.
lot we take on our backs because I've noticed I'm also a fixer. If there's a problem, as I grew up, I had two older sisters and a mother. If there was a problem, I had to be the one to fix it, nobody else.
Yeah.
I had to be the one to fix it. And so I noticed that in my relationships now and my friendships, if there's a problem, I always feel like I have to fix it. And I recently kind of shifted the way that I think about what a problem is because sometimes it's not always a problem. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes I just want to be the one to fix it. Sometimes I just want to be the savior. I just want to have the solution when there is no problem.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. Honestly, I would say growing up being that, I don't necessarily want to say father figure, but in the household, being that father figure growing up, your siblings, your younger siblings, they looked up to you, your mom looked to you for help. So it's like, it's really, especially because we were so young, I feel like it was really tough and it really framed our mind into, being a father, being a dad, when really we were just children, just children. So yeah, but I feel like, I wouldn't go back and change anything. I feel like because of that framework that has been embedded in me, I feel like I am who I am because of all that. So I wouldn't want it to be any other way. But I definitely do agree that, growing up that way does something to your mental. It does something to your personality. It makes you feel like everyone needs you, and it makes you feel like you have to be there for everyone.
Right.
So yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, like you said, there's good and bad that you take out of it. Like now I'm able to know, how to fix stuff. I'm able to know how to take a lot of stuff on my back, whether sometimes that is a good thing, whether sometimes that is a bad thing. I know how to do it.
That's true.
I know how to hold a lot of weight, whether that's burdens or that's just weight I need to carry myself for the season. I know how to do that now. And so just because we have like trauma or stuff that molded us into what we are today, like it's not always bad. We have to shift the way. It's all about perspective. Perspective is reality. We have to shift the way we think about it, and we can see this curse sometimes as a blessing, and we can see it as, take the good things out of it and work on the bad stuff, try to heal from the bad stuff, and allow ourselves to be aware of the root cause of this behavior. I want to fix this problem right now because 5-6 years ago, I fixed everything in my family. I had to fix everything. And like you said, we just have to take the good out of it. But yeah, AJ, what do you think is like the biggest challenge you've endured just growing up, and how do you overcome that?
The biggest challenge I endured growing up, I want to say honestly, it was I feel like as a child, kind of even till now, it's like I would seek glorification over the things that I did because I felt like I wasn't getting enough at the time. Growing up, I feel like I was always like number one.
Yeah.
Because, my mom always embedded in me, education, studies, get this, stuff like. So growing up, I was always number one, but it just didn't seem like I wasn't getting the glorification that, I felt like I deserved at the time as a child and stuff like that. I would always get the good job, I'm proud of you and stuff like, but I don't know. Me personally, I wanted more.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's carried on with me now to where it's like I'll do certain things. Like I think I go out of my way to do certain things. And when people don't give me that sort of like glorification that I want, it's like sort of like
disappointment.
Yeah, it's a disappointment. And that's a mental barrier that I've placed on myself, because a lot of the times their expression, just because it doesn't match up to how I want it to be, doesn't mean it's not, them giving it 100%. So their 100%, not being good enough for me is a problem that I have that I need to, is a problem that I have that I need to, I feel like that's a mental barrier, something that has to do with that trauma.
I feel that. Like it's not that you're not giving me what I need, you're just not giving me what I want.
Exactly.
What I expect. And I definitely am a victim to that as well. Like just wanting praise for a lot of stuff because I know like I'm talented in many aspects. And so when I outperform or overperform, my peers, my colleagues, I expect this praise. And when I do get this praise, I realize it's still not enough because I expected it. It was for something that is worldly, for something that that fades, the praise the next day. What if I don't get it? I still have to get up. I still got to do what I got to do. I still got to go to class, do all this stuff. I got to work. I got to make money. Without the praise, I got to be the one to praise myself. I got to be the one to get me up out of bed, not these other people. Because they got their own lives to live.
Yeah, honestly, you just said something that I never really thought about. You saying I got to be the one to praise myself. I feel like that's something that I'm gonna take from this conversation and move on forward with it with that in mind. Because honestly, I can't remember how many times. I want to say the last time I did it was probably like freshman year, but I can't remember how many times like I've genuinely like said I was proud of myself or proud of something that I have done. Like I know I've talked to people and be like, wow, I can't believe I did it. But I never genuinely just sat down and like talked to myself like, I'm proud of you for doing this. I'm proud of you for doing this. So I feel like doing that will help me, overcome that mental barrier. So I appreciate you for telling me that.
For sure. That's a big thing. That's a big step as well, being proud of yourself. It's definitely like something I've been working on, being proud of myself. But it's also a journey. You're not just gonna be proud of everything, the good and the bad in one day, because we all are broken people. We all are broken individuals, come with our wounds, come with our imperfections. But regardless, I'm still proud of myself because I'm working on those imperfections. And even as I have those imperfections, as I have these wounds, as I have this trauma, it's all a part of me. It's not something I want to, take out of me and put it to the side. It's all a part of me, and it makes me who I am. It makes me human. It makes me a person. If I didn't have it, I would be a god, and I'm not.
But I definitely do agree that growing up that way, it does something to your mental. It does something to your personality. It makes you feel like everyone needs you, and it makes you feel like you have to be there for everyone.
There's good and bad that you take out of it. Like now I'm able to know how to take a lot of stuff on my back, whether sometimes that is a good thing, whether sometimes that is a bad thing. Just because we have like trauma, it's not always bad. We have to shift the way we think about it, and we can see this curse sometimes as a blessing. Take the good things out of it and work on the bad stuff. Try to heal from the bad stuff. So you said the biggest thing was that growing up. That was your biggest challenge.
Yeah, I would say that was probably my biggest challenge. And yeah, I would have to say it definitely was because of the fact that I still haven't gotten over it. So I would say, yeah, that was my biggest
What are
challenge.
steps you think you're taking now to overcome that?
I would actually, as crazy as this sounds, but like genuinely just sitting there and like talking to yourself, I feel like that genuinely helps. Yeah, like I remember I would literally like cut off all the lights in the crib, just like turn everything off, it's just silent, and I was just literally I would verbally talk to myself, like I was there, like there was two people in the room, and I feel like doing that really like allows you to tap into a part of you that, you may suppress, or you may just, keep hidden from others because you don't want other people to see it. But in that room where it's just darkness and it's just you and you. So like, I feel like that really has been a part of my healing and a part of my, the steps that I take to overcome the mental trauma that I do have from, just growing up. Yeah.
Yeah, I talk to myself too. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna sit on here and lie. They say most geniuses do. Like if you look back, Albert Einstein used to talk to himself. I'm pretty sure because a lot of these geniuses, they tend to be like insane, but those people who have reached these incredible feats, a lot of them are insane.
Yeah.
Like, if we gonna be real, a lot of them are insane. Like, they've tried the same thing multiple times again, but they got it.
Yeah.
They got it eventually, and it's all about consistency. But yeah, I talk to myself a lot, like sometimes in my room, or nowadays because it's summer and nobody's really on campus, I really just take walks like all around campus, go to these ponds, the greenhouse, if you've been there, and just like chop it up with myself. Like, how am I feeling right now? Do a mental health check-in with myself. What's going on? And if I'm feeling, these negative feelings, it's sometimes hard to express that. So I kind of just try to express the emotion or what's weighing me down right now instead of how I need to get back up. I just need to sit in this. I'm not gonna sit in it forever. I'm not gonna sit in it for like the next few days, but I'm gonna sit in it for now, and I'm gonna sit with it until it's done teaching me, because that's the point of pain, to teach you, especially as a man, to teach you. And so that's definitely something I've practiced. I've put into practice, I think, since since middle school, really. I've been talking to myself, but I wouldn't say it's like something that should be frowned upon. Obviously, if you're talking to yourself about, some wild stuff. But yeah, if it's a mental health check-in with yourself, that's something different. Yeah, that's something different. Don't listen to this and start talking to yourselves
about just random bull.
Oh man, because people will start looking at you crazy.
Yeah,
believe that. But what are some goals you're pursuing right now? Some passions that you found over the years?
Goals and passions that I'm pursuing right now. Honestly, I struggle with the word passion because I feel like my passion has been really, formed by the things that I watched as a kid. So, like, I genuinely, I'm in school right now for economics and computer science. So, that's what I'm going towards right now. But I struggle every day with, like, is it really something I'm passionate about, or is it really something that I'm just doing so I can get the money to do things that I'm passionate about? So the word passion is a real struggle, because if I'm being honest, I would love to just like make money, like, I don't know, creating content or make money just by doing things that necessarily like I don't want to feel like I'm working.
Right.
And I haven't, as of right now, I'm only 21, so life is long, but so as of right now, I haven't really thought about or figured out anything that I can see myself doing that'll be like, this doesn't feel like work. I love doing this. So, that's why me and passion right now are really, battling. But I feel like once that thing comes to my mind of where it's like, I love doing this, and I feel like if I could find something that I would love doing without making money, then making money for it. I feel like making money for it would just be the cake on top. Like, like, I don't know, if there was something that I love doing for free, that I love like volunteering to do, just whatever. If I ended up getting paid to do that thing, I feel like that would just be perfect. But the problem is now I just need to figure out what that is.
That's a good way to think about it. Like, first find your purpose, first find your passion, the money come afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, then you can find a way to make money.
But I will say the problem that a lot of people are having nowadays is their, quote unquote passions just aren't paying what needs to be paid, especially like the way America is set up now. Things cost a lot. Like, I think I just put like $30 in my gas tank and I'm almost on E again. So it's like there's a lot of people I know who like wish they went into college doing different things, but they had to choose something else because the money wasn't in what they wanted to do. And then they're like, I'm gonna go back to college afterwards, after I got everything set, and then I'm gonna do this. But at that point, it's like I don't know, it's just blindly chasing money. So, but it's really like I get both people. I get the people who put money over their satisfaction and good feeling, or the people who put their good feeling over the money. It's just that I'm stuck in the middle of like, which one can I do to actually like succeed? Because I have goals. My goals, like, living in a nice house, having a nice family. I never want my kids to ask for something and I have to think about like, dang, can I really afford that? Like that's not no.
Yeah.
So it's like I have the goals, but I just need to know what I can do to get those goals.
Okay, like the drive to get
Yeah.
there. Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
My purpose right now is this podcast. I feel like I was blessed with it in a very dark time of my life, and it kind of propelled me out of there. I was lacking a safe space that I really needed, so I figured I would create my own. So that was the reason I started this podcast. But I've had plenty of purposes, plenty of passions throughout the years: videography, photography, video editing, that I still do to this day, and I still find joy in those things. But my purpose right now, or my calling, I feel like is this podcast. So that is exactly what I'm doing, and I really started it from the ground up. Um, I'm I'm working on buying new equipment for it. I'm really studying the game, listening to other podcasts, listening to how I can better present myself, better speak properly, using less filler words. And so I've done the research. I've been applying it. And so I'm just gonna fall in love with this journey as I do this slow grind right now, and see where it takes me. Yeah, see where it takes me. But purposes, like you said, they can get complicated. They get very complicated because, like I said, I have plenty of purposes throughout the years, and not one is just gonna take you to your goal. Not one is just gonna get you where you need to be in life.
Yeah.
And there are different things in your life that bring you joy. So many different things that may not equate to, making money. May not equate to money making. And that's a sad reality. Like that's a sad reality we have to live with. But also, I think you can work a 9 to 5 and also have this side hustle. I think you can do that and have a side job of your passion, whether that's painting, whether that's art, graphic design, podcasting. You can have that now. And we've seen that a lot nowadays in, middle-aged men and women where they have the 9 to 5, they have the job, they were pursuing in college and school, and they have that, but they're also doing what they want on the side. Whether that is on the side or whether that is their main job, you can do both. You can juggle with both.
Yeah, that is true. 100% true. I feel like a lot of people, I don't know, maybe it's because they're older, but I feel like once you reach a certain age, it doesn't happen like that, but I feel like, balance, balance really comes into play. There are some people who have 3, 4 kids, but it just seems like their life is so mellow. Their life is so, and that's because they really mastered balance. And I feel like you were saying, people can have that 9 to 5 and people can do their passion, but it just, as long as once they master balance, it seems like everything just falls into place.
That balance is so hard to find, though.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It depends on, it's different for everybody. Some people can balance a 9 to 5. Some people need to work a half or part-time job. Some people can't work a full-time. Some people can work like 3 days a week if they really want to have this passion pursued. It's different balances for everybody. So you just have to find what suits you.
Yeah.
You just gotta find what suits you. You said you're pursuing economics here, right?
Yeah, economics and
majors in economics. Okay. And you said you kind of don't know what you want to do with that.
So I know the field and everything that I want to go into. I know I want to become a data analyst. But my thing is, do I want to do that for the rest of my life? Right. That's my whole thing. But I know that once I actually step into the field, the degrees, one thing I didn't do when I was planning my major and everything, I made sure that the degrees that I was getting, even if I don't like this certain field, there's still multiple fields that I can go into because of this one degree. So I'm kind of, I'm very, very happy that my past self was set myself up like this. Right. Because if being a data analyst doesn't go right, I still have these degrees. So I can still, I can pursue this, I can pursue this, I can pursue, yeah. So I have different things that I can go towards if that one doesn't work out. But, yeah.
You kind of have it figured out.
Yeah, I kind of, yeah.
Got the vision set. Did you know you always wanted to do that?
So when I was younger, I actually wanted to be so I could tell you literally everything I wanted to be since I was like in the 5th grade.
Yeah, I feel like I've been through some cycles.
Yeah, so in the 5th grade, I wanted to be the president of the United States. I remember my mom used to tell me, you have to still do something else. Like Obama, he was a lawyer.
Right.
So I remember I wanted to be the president of the United States. My 5th grade teacher told me because I was born in Nigeria, I couldn't be the president of the United States. I remember the moment, like it's burned into my memory. We were sitting on the rug in class.
Teacher saying that.
Yeah, we were sitting
in front of the class.
In front of the class, we were sitting on the rug in class, and I was like really like holding back tears. And then I went home and I told my mom, I was like crying to my mom. I was like, "Mom, I can't be the president." She was like, "Yeah, I know." And I was like, "What? You let me go this entire time thinking I could be the president?" But yeah, so first it was the president, then I wanted to be a lawyer, but I was just like, nah. And then I wanted to be a forensic scientist, and I wanted to be a forensic scientist up until maybe I want to say like 11th grade when I actually did a forensic science class, and I was like, nah, this ain't it. And then I came here and I was majoring in computer science because I wanted to be a computer scientist. But the classes here just, yeah, no. So then I was like, okay, I took an economics class. I like money.
No.
Yeah, so like, I took that class already. It was really interesting. I didn't do too good in it, but it was just interesting. So that's why I was like, okay, maybe it's just something. If this is the class that I didn't do so well in, but it's like I'm still drawn towards it. Let me see what this is about. So I'm messing with it right now. And then I still also have my other I have the computer science degree, finished. So it's like now I got both.
Okay. Yeah, you went through multiple phases.
Yeah, multiple phases. I feel like everybody goes through
Everybody do. I wanted to be a detective for a while. Police officer, went from police officer to detective to firefighter. I think that was because I was watching The Flash a lot growing up.
That's why I wanted to be forensic scientist. That's why I wanted to be. That's exactly why I wanted to be a forensic scientist. Yep.
And then I wanted to be a photographer when I found photography. But right now, I'm really not sure what I really want to go into. I think I want to be a movie director. That's what I think. I think that would be good for me, to have my creative ideas portrayed on a film, portrayed in, a long length film, especially. I think I want to do that, but I'm really not sure. And I've got time to figure it out.
Yeah.
And as I do figure it out, I'm gonna fall in love with, these purposes, these passions that I have. So as I do that, the journey, hopefully I find out what I want to do on the way. Hopefully I do. But what do you think your Nigerian roots has had of it an impact in the man you are today?
I feel like there was a lot of stuff that I couldn't do as a child that I was like, I wasn't able to do this just because my mom simply didn't like necessarily understand that, this is stuff that American kids do. But, growing up, looking back at it, it's like I would definitely say I'm more proud of my culture and stuff like that now, just because I'm old enough to like understand like the true meaning of certain things. So it's like going back then, my mom didn't necessarily, she was like going to my friends' houses, stuff like that. It was always sort of like I don't really know because I don't know, because like she didn't necessarily trust it. She would see the news, what was going on in the news and stuff like that. Right. Tattoos, piercings, things of that nature. It was just like, it's not normal for that culture to do stuff, for my mom at least, and the culture that she was raised in to, be doing that type of stuff. So it was like, growing up, I feel like that really, set me in frameworks to be the person I am today. I feel like if I was allowed to do, anything that I wanted back then, I wouldn't be who I am now. So I definitely am grateful that my roots, were so strong. I feel like without that, I just genuinely just wouldn't be. I wouldn't know. I genuinely couldn't tell you who I would be today or where I would be today. I don't even know if I would be in the way I see it. I don't know if I would be in college just because there's so many things that if I could have did back then, it's like I look at certain people that I knew back then. It's just like if my mom raised me how some of just like a little bit different, or even if my mom raised me how your parents raised you, I just don't know where I would be. I don't know if I would be here. So it's like, and I feel like a large part of that has to do with how she was raised, and she was raised in that traditional Nigerian household.
And she tried to instill that into all of you.
Very much so. Very much so. I know. When we found the Nigerian church here, the Sundays we would have to wear the Nigerian clothing, the Nigerian pastors, things like that. Those like small things are just things of like her trying to like instill our culture into us, because we are growing up in America, and we haven't been back to Nigeria since we were born. So it's like it's easy to forget. But to me, it was always like two different worlds. Like every time I stepped out of the house, it would be like, before I started going by AJ, people would, call me my full name and they'll know. But after I started going by AJ, it was more like, everybody the outside world was always like American culture, American this, American that. But as soon as I step back into the household, like my mom barely speaks to me in English for real. Like she usually speaks to me in Yoruba. So it's like, as soon as I step back into the house, it's like I'm in a different world. So it's like I never really lost touch of it because of that. All my aunts, my uncles, they always speak Yoruba. Like they'll still speak English, of course, but like they're like I understand it, so they'll speak it to me. So I just feel like it was always a different world, and I was never able to, like, even if I wanted to forget, I literally just couldn't.
So when you go back, is it still like that different world you step into?
Like my actual house, or like yeah, most definitely. I feel like my mom, now that she's a little bit older, she's starting to not necessarily conform, but she's just becoming more relaxing. Like when I was a kid, the stuff that my siblings, my sister and my brother do, stuff that they do now, I would get it.
Siblings get it.
Yeah, they got it easy. But I feel like it still is definitely like it still is a different world. Like when I want to say when I was younger, my mom it would always be like Nigerian food in the house, all the time. Now if I go back, my mom's starting to be more open because she's been around a little bit longer. So like if I go back, there's still Nigerian food in the fridge, of course, but there's also I don't know, there may be just some like restaurants that may be around town, and my mom was like she wanted to try or something like that. So it's just like it's interesting because it seems like both worlds are colliding. I mean,
they kind of coming together.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's gonna have an effect on you. You said you have sisters.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, that's gonna have an effect on them when they grow up.
I feel like
a different effect that it had on you.
I feel like it already has affected them. My sister's she's going to college literally in August. So she had her time in the household like me, and I feel like we aren't one and the same. We're not peas in a pod, but I want to say maybe we're pods on the same branch or whatever. So it's like, I was raised the way I was, but as her being younger than me, she was raised the same way, but it was like little bits and pieces of being different. And plus she's a girl too. So that thrown in there, I feel like we were raised just a little bit different. But I can definitely see like the more I don't want to say Americanized culture within her, because she's definitely like proud of being Nigerian and everything. But it's just like there's certain things that like I don't know, there's certain things that my mom would tell me, and I'll just be like, what? And then she could tell it to my sister, and my sister would be like, yeah, I understand it 100%, because it's like it's more like the American thing, but my mom would tell me like the more Nigerian thing, and I'd be like, oh, okay. My sister would be like, what? So it's like,
okay. Yeah, my two younger brothers, they have it a lot more easier than I did, because like they just graduated, as I said. They had their open house this Sunday. Shout out if they listening. But James and John. But they definitely had a different experience than I did, just because when I graduated, I think they were the last two, and being the last two in the house, my mom, I think she was kind of not lenient, but you get a little exhausted. You just had 3 kids that you raised 18 years, all 3 of them, and you got them out the house. 2 of them went D1 in basketball. The other one went to Central Michigan. And like that's a lot. That's very tolling. And so I don't think she was more lenient, but it was just less that she had to give.
Yeah.
And my brothers, they turned out great. I mean, nonetheless, they did turn out great, but they had a lot more freedom than us three did. A lot more freedom.
I feel that.
And that's gonna shape them into who they are and shape them, mold them a lot differently than we were molded, just because we were a lot less or a lot more constricted in the way we were raised. Like I wasn't allowed to go to sleepovers. I wasn't allowed to go to friends' houses unless my mom had met their mom. And you know, when I was young, I used to get mad about it and I used to, fuss about it. But growing up, you understand because there are cruel people in this world and you have no idea how they're going to treat your kids, whether it's rightly or wrongly. And, you grow up and you understand the root of why, they did what they did. But also, it do kind of get on your nerves when you see your little brothers, your little siblings, being able to do the stuff you never was able to.
Yeah. One thing, my little brother, I don't know when he got his first phone, but it was just like I remember I got mine in like 5th grade, and it was like a little track phone, and the only reason I got it was because I forgot that it was a half day, and I didn't tell my mom, so it's like she couldn't pick me up, so it was like now I'm at the bus stop just stranded. So after I used the liquor store phone, and I called her. She was like, yeah, so she was like, after that day, we got to get you some type of communication, a phone or something. So then I got a phone, but it's like my little brother now he's in freshman year, 9th grade, and I think he has my old phone, an iPhone 13 Pro Max. So it's just like, whoa. And like,
13.
Yeah, so it's just like, whoa. And like, he'll do stuff like, I don't know, DoorDash food. And I mean, I can't blame him or my mom necessarily because, technology is improving everything. But it's just like, at 14, I don't think I would be able to like literally give out my address like that so people could come give me food. I would have to wait till my mom made what she made. So it was like, dang, like it's really crazy just to look back and see like the changes between you and your
my brothers, like my mom don't even cook no more, really. They really have like a lot of they go out to eat a lot and they have jobs, but also my mom helps pays for it. And yeah, they go out to eat a lot. They have a lot of like frozen dinners or they cook a lot. My brothers are cooking now. And when we was growing up, it was spaghetti, it was meal, it was sloppy Joe, it was leftovers 2-3 times a week. Like we ain't having like that. It was school lunch. Now these niggas bringing lunch to school. They bringing burgers, glizzies, like it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Like the way the dynamic can shift, and it all comes with growth because I think we sometimes forget as we grow as children, our parents are growing as well. They're growing. They're learning. They're learning as they see one leave the nest, one leave the house. They see what they did wrong. They see what they did right, and for the next one, they gonna change. They're not gonna do the same thing if some things, if they did make mistakes, and we all do, so they're not gonna do the same thing. So we can't expect all of our siblings to be treated the same.
Yeah,
we just can't.
Yeah, no, I never really. I think about it sometimes, but I just never really like dive deep into the thought of like the things that my mom may have did wrong with me, or the mistakes that she made with me. I never really think about how she tries to like fix that with my sister, and then whatever she does with my sister, the mistakes that she tries to do that with I never really thought about it, but I know it's something that she for sure does, because I feel like every good parent would do that, because the same way as a parent you want your kids to be better than I would imagine, like you have your first child, they're doing amazing, you want your second child to be doing even better than that, you want your third to be even doing, so I would assume, I just never really thought about that.
That first child, they kind of get like test subject. My oldest sister, she kind of spoke on it with us. Like they're the first ones to endure everything, like to face everything head on. Like y'all are able to give a lot more wisdom to the younger ones because you have faced it head on. Like they don't have to go through the same mistakes you did being the first. So just speak on that. Like being the oldest child, is there a lot of wisdom you give a lot down,
Yeah,
passed down?
most definitely. Like, I think I was just like telling my siblings, because my siblings, they were like upset with my mom for doing something, and I was just literally like, like, yo, I'm telling you, I've known this woman for so long that you need to do this, this, and this, and then you'll be good. Like, I'm telling you. And it's just like sometimes they just don't want to listen. And I'm just like, I told you, like, I've known her for so long. I know what to do. I know what not to do. And of course, I still like make her mad sometimes and stuff like that. Because we all make mistakes. I'm human, stuff like that. But it's just like, I know how she thinks. Like when my siblings do something wrong and they call me up like, AJ, mom's doing this, da 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 da, I'm able to tell them from her point of view why they were so called wrong.
Right.
Even if they may not be wrong. Because my mom, I know my mom, she may be tripping sometimes. But like I'm able to tell them this is why she's thinking this because you did this, and that's why this is all going down.
Like whether she's in the wrong or not.
Yeah, like this is the reason she's doing this, because you did this, and she doesn't like I'm able to do that because I've been through it. Like everything that they think they got it bad. I literally no, it was me. Yeah, I probably went through they think I'm her favorite child now. It's literally just because I'm older. It's because I'm older and we have that that relationship grows to where it's like, all the things that you did when I was young to teach me to become this person. I'm this person now, and I'm this person and more, because I get other influences from outside. So it's like I'm just the accumulation of everything that you've taught me, everything that uncles have taught me, everything like teachers, stuff like I'm this person.
Like a sponge.
Yeah, so I feel like having that relationship with your mother or your father or whatever is way easier once you reach that stage of, okay, I've taken in all this information. I'm able to, regurgitate it back properly. Yeah. Instead of, when you're a kid, you take in some information, but you may just want to you don't know how to properly voice it out. But now I feel like I'm at the point where it's like, I can have a genuine adult conversation with my mom. I can have a genuine adult conversation with any adult in my life, or just, any teacher or anything like that. I can have that conversation because of the person that I've been throughout life, and because of the things that she's instilled in me, the things that they've all instilled in me. So I feel like it's just easier to have that conversation now. So, I'm just constantly telling them I'm not necessarily her favorite. It's just that I'm the one that she knows that I'm the one that can communicate with her in the best way. Right. The way I can tiptoe around certain words and stuff like that. So
Okay. No, that takes mad self-reflection, what you just said, to know that now you are able to have conversations like that, and in the past you might not have been able to. But knowing that you reached a point in your life where you're able to properly communicate all the experiences you have been through, and everything you have soaked in, everything that was instilled in you. You're able to properly say that, you're able to properly, speak that over yourself. So that I commend you. That takes mad self-reflection and growth as well. To get to that point, I'm still trying to get to that point. Obviously it takes time, but it's a journey.
But I definitely do agree that growing up that way, it does something to your mental. It does something to your personality. It makes you feel like everyone needs you, and it makes you feel like you have to be there for everyone.
There's good and bad that you take out of it. Now I'm able to know how to take a lot of stuff on my back, whether sometimes that is a good thing, whether sometimes that is a bad thing. Just because we have trauma, it's not always bad. We have to shift the way we think about it, and we can see this curse sometimes as a blessing. Take the good things out of it and work on the bad stuff. Try to heal from the bad stuff. Just speak on that journey. What does that look like? Coming here, getting here.
I mean, as we all know, it's not easy.
Right.
So I just feel like it takes I don't want to say you necessarily need to go through certain traumas, because I feel like trauma isn't good, but at the same time it's just like I've been saying, I wouldn't be the person I was today if I didn't go through everything that I went through. So it's going through those certain things, and just, like you were saying earlier, being down, but not allowing yourself to sit in that being down. I feel like that's really important, having a relationship with a higher being, whether you believe in God or whatever you want to believe in, just having that relationship with that being. For me, it's God. So, having a relationship with God, having a relationship with your family, those are things that I feel like help me take my mind out of that place. Like, yeah, I can sit in that place for a little bit because, like you said, with pain comes growth. But, too much pain, you start to hinder yourself. So I use those things as outlets to take myself out of that pain. And I feel like by doing that, I feel like I'm able to, grow properly. And, I feel like that's a big part of the journey that I've been on, just being able to focusing on growing properly. Cause like, I feel like people can grow in the wrong way.
Amen.
And that's like, a lot of people don't realize that you can definitely grow in the wrong way. So I feel like growing properly. Yeah, I feel like growing properly, I feel like I feel like I grew properly, honestly. That's why I feel like my journey is where it's at now. So yeah.
That's big. Like having stuff like you spoke on, having stuff like a higher being, a higher purpose that you're serving, that you're listening to, praying to, as well as, certain passions, certain purposes, and just being in a place where you're able to be vulnerable, you're able to speak on such stuff. Like speaking on this podcast right now, like that is a big step, being vulnerable about that stuff, because that opens you up. It allows for more possibilities because you're taking a level of introspection into yourself, but you're releasing it into the universe, into the atmosphere, and that there's power in that, there's strength in that, because not everyone can do that. And it takes you being here, it takes healing from that to be able to be vulnerable. Because as you're healing, as you're, still trying to cover up the wound, it's hard to speak on that stuff because that wound may, come undone. That bandage may come off. The scab, it might rip right off to go, 5 years back to where you were. And so you really have to play it smart. Like, vulnerability is a big factor into your healing, but you have to be careful who you're being vulnerable to.
That is true.
Definitely do. Yeah. Like a therapist, you have to have a higher power, or just a friend, a brother, a sister, a companion, a spouse that you can go to with this stuff that are trusted.
Yeah. You said something that I wanted to speak on. You talking about going back to wounds, and they may open something from the past. I feel like me personally, I feel like that's something I definitely had to deal with. I feel like,
like getting triggered.
Yeah, like things like triggering you. But I just feel like at the point I am now, I feel like you get to a certain point in life where you understand like it's okay. Like as long as you're constantly taking them steps forward. If I'm taking 5 steps forward every day, if there's a day where I take 2 steps back, it's okay. Because the next day I'm taking 5 again, and I'm going 5 again, 5 again. If I take 3 back, it's okay as long as I take 5 again. So consistency and just like being okay. Like one thing I like to say is being happy and being happy. I feel like it's on the spectrum. And a lot of people don't think that. A lot of people think, oh, if you're not happy, then something's wrong with you. That's not necessarily true. If like I said, being happy is being on the spectrum. If happy is the extreme, and anger or sadness is the next extreme, it's okay to be complacent with being in the middle of that. It's okay to be in the middle. I'm not mad, but I'm not happy. I'm here.
It comes with ups and downs.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people just, I don't know. I don't want to use the word fetishize, but I feel like they fetishize happiness to the point that the people who are just okay with being okay are made, they're made to feel like I need to be happy, or I need to be one of these things.
Yeah.
But it's such a long spectrum. It's okay to be in that middle. It's okay to be, if you're not happy, it's okay. If you're mad, if you're not mad, it's okay. Like it's okay to be in that middle. And I feel like going through that journey, like we were talking about, bringing it back to consistency and stuff, if you're okay, like every day, that's fine. That's how your journey is going. Like there will be some days where you're like okay for like a certain amount of time, and you shouldn't look at that and be, take it as a point of like, dang, I've been okay for so long. When am I gonna get happy, or when am I gonna get? Because just looking at that is just gonna steal your joy. You know, you just gotta ride the journey and just keep on
take
going.
it for what it is.
Mhm.
And I mean, you said a lot in that, and I just wanted to speak on kind of that happiness spectrum.
Mhm.
Like that was very big to know that you can be on either end, but not just either end. You can be in the middle too. You can be here. You can be here. You can be 25, 75. It's a spectrum, and people don't really think about that, especially on social media. We see all these highs. We see all these people enjoying life, and we expect ours to be like that.
Yeah.
But like you said, you can take 5 steps forward and just 2 steps back, but that's still progress. You took 3 steps. Slow progress is progress.
Yeah.
And you don't have to compare your progress with anybody else because everybody's journey is different. You don't know the full story, only God does, and you're putting yourself in the position of God, thinking that you know the full story when you don't. And like speaking on the ups and downs, the highs and lows, I saw this video the other week kind of speaking on highs and lows because I really struggle with that as well, just kind of fluctuating up and down at each and every day. Is something that really started happening when I got to college and I went to counseling for it because there were just so many very high highs, but the lows were so low. And I would just get caught in, the up, the down, the up, the down, just get caught in that feeling. And it was a lot for me because in high school, prior, I never had such fluctuation.
Yeah.
Like it was the same thing every day, consistency. I was at school 8 to 3 p.m. Consistency, the same thing. But at college, it's so much different. It's so much different, and highs and lows, like we have to fall in love with them and realize that life has highs and lows, and highs and lows are a part of life. Like if you look at a heartbeat monitor, if that thing were to flatline, you'd be dead. You'd be flat out dead. The highs and lows, the ups and downs, they remind us that we're living, that our heart is racing, that we're still breathing. You have to fall in love with that. And if, we just had a high, that would just be life. Like how would we know what high was if this was all it was? You have to recognize what it is. You have to recognize the low for the low, the high for the high, and fall in love with that fluctuation because it's all a part of the process, all a part of the journey.
That's true. That's facts.
It's all a part of it.
Yeah, that heartbeat monitor stuff. That was cool. That was
It reminds us that we live in, that we here.
Yeah.
But we probably gonna wrap this episode up. Once again, I thank AJ for being here. We chopped it up for a few minutes. This episode will be dropping on my birthday, August 4th. So if you haven't, wish your boy happy birthday. And AJ, if you have anything else you want to say.
I feel like one of the key takeaways from this podcast is, what Elijah said about the heartbeat monitor and stuff like that. Take life for what it is, the highs and the lows, like he said, learn to, enjoy both of them. With those highs, there's going to be some great highs, there's going to be some bad lows, but, as long as you are able to come out of both of those situations with something meaningful, I feel like you're on the right path.
Amen. Amen. Once again, just try to like, comment, subscribe, share the podcast all you can. Thank you guys for listening. Once again, we'll have an episode coming next Friday as well. So just stay tuned. Thank you all.